look, I have a kid. I used to be like that until I had my kid. Now that I have my kid, like I might be this, oh, I'm a boss bitch, da, da, da. But deep down in my heart, I would do absolutely anything to be at home and be like always with my child.
There you go.
But unfortunately,
And
I
have
can't.
a man protecting you. Stop acting like, stop leaving out the man part.
Yeah.
Because for you to be home with your child, that means you got a man holding you down,
Yeah,
protecting you.
and that's what I'm saying. Like, he's right, and that shit's hard. Like, but unfortunately, since I'm by myself, I gotta hustle, you know.
Yeah.
But I would do anything to have a man. Like,
That's what we saying. That's exactly.
Thank you. God bless you. God bless you for telling the fucking truth. God bless you for telling the truth.
The irony of this century is how women fought to have a place and seat on the corporate board of executives and women. After winning their right to equality, more and more women are now thinking of ways to not have a seat on the board and instead have a comfortable seat in the kitchen and their TV lounge. Women thought living in a man's world was easy until they did it. The reason we men make it look easy to them is because we are built for it. Men are built to handle stress. While it can have negative effects on us, they are not nearly as severe as they are for women, because men can remove their emotions from the situation, but women can't. Emotions control women's basic thoughts and impulses, and no matter how hard they try, it's part of their DNA to be emotionally driven. Women do things based on how they feel, and then think about the action later. That's a recipe for stress and anxiety. That's a recipe for bad decisions and unprofitable consequences. Men, on the other hand, take action first. Then after we're done, we may think about how we feel about it. This usually results in men engaging in something that will relax them. We're just hardwired very differently. It's not like men don't get stressed. Men feel the burnout too. But we're just able to tolerate it better because we're biologically and physiologically created to withstand the pressure. The real issue with this, especially in the United States, is that we get influenced by whatever we see on television. Most of our time is forced to be given to these major media corporations to barely keep our heads above water. Women spend half of their lives dreaming about getting pumped from Chad's adventurous sausage, and later realize he's been doing that with dozens of other women. The next half is spent realizing how wrong they were about feminism, and how there's no chance for them to have a better life because they've hit the wall hard. The independent women burnout is not the 9-to-5 job, it's Chad's 24/7 hot dog carousel. Sooner or later, it will burn out the divorced, married, single, daddy-dependent, pre-walled, post-walled, PhD, liberated modern women of today. These women are racking up more mileage than an 18-wheeler, and they expect a good mechanic or simp to keep fixing all the breakdowns and major repairs, just to get them all fixed up for the return of Chad's hot dog carousel again. Many have tried to be captain save a 304, but all have failed. I've noticed a strange phenomenon lately. Younger women today are much more thankful for old-school masculinity than their older counterparts. Date a woman in her mid-30s, and she doesn't need the car door opened for her. Open the car door for a girl in her 20s, and she looks at you like you just saved her from a burning building. I think the younger generation of females is going to eventually hate the older generation for what they've done. In all honesty, women regret feminism since it elevated them above and completely deviated from the ideal of a woman as prescribed by universal laws of nature. It is expected of a woman to take care of others, nurture others, and raise families. There's a reason why women, not males, possess the biological capacity to bear children. But ladies become disturbed when they defy their nature for an extended period. It starts to make them realize that they are squandering their time by avoiding what they should be doing and doing what males are meant to do. To take care of children, men don't try to become feminine and raise children. They are content with who they are and carrying out their role as protectors and providers. They don't attempt to emulate women or assume feminine roles. A woman who aspires to be the primary provider is like a man who laments his inability to procreate. Therefore, even while feminism helped women pursue better and more independent lives, it did not differentiate between the level of independence and personal freedom. Because they aspired to be men, women started to despise men for being too macho. Indeed, feminism hates guys. That is the true situation. Additionally, if you browse social media these days, you'll see a ton of videos featuring women who are reaching their breaking point and realize how foolish it was for them to put off starting a family and finding a permanent home. They are lamenting that instead of receiving the same level of attention and validation from men as they once did, men are instead going after younger women who have a desire to settle down and live a comfortable family life. Overall, Feminism failed to liberate women as it intended, since liberty is not the same as financial independence. It encourages women to be at ease with who they are and with expressing their feminine side. Men have traditionally been protectors and providers for women. They thrive in these roles. It motivates them. Similar to males, women's true mission isn't to run major corporations or join the boards of publicly traded firms. It's to be women. So, who is a strong and independent woman? Let me try to explain. She's a lazy, undisciplined person who has had the benefits of being desirable and needs to be cared for from a young age. She has benefited from female-only scholarships, enrollment, and hiring quotas, has had at least one car paid for by a man in her life, and is obsessed with an image of the point of being a shopaholic, and in many cases borrowing money to pay for that lifestyle. She also has men begging to be with her, and she keeps her options open. Then, one day, a man breaks up with her, and the credit card and car payments come due, and she doesn't remember that the prices were so high. So now all men are bad. She's oppressed because she didn't get the promotion at work, even though she didn't apply for it, and laments her great misfortune of living under patriarchy. I think many women divorce their husbands because the ladies think they know more about raising children than men. Men tend to be tougher on children when it comes to discipline. Most women don't like that, and I am willing to bet that many divorces happen because the woman gives the man a request to go easier on the child, and the husband refuses. So, the lady divorces the husband and raises the child to let them think that they can do anything they want with no consequences. Of course, when the child grows up and finds out that they can't break the law with no consequences, the child who is now an adult has to do adult time in jail. All of this could have been avoided if the father was there to teach the child that bad behavior has consequences. Great job, ladies, at destroying families and raising prisoners. It will all probably come down to traditional women holding feminist and modern women accountable for their actions and why they will die alone. The question is whether that happens before or after 2030, when 45% of women will be alone and childless. My guess is no. I'll be raising my daughters to know that being a wife and mother are the most fulfilling jobs a woman can have. Everything else is secondary. Feminism encouraged and empowered women to begin living their lives without the assistance of men, and this is how it made a difference in the world. It showed them that if they chose to pursue their education and go up the corporate ladder, they could become financially independent. It showed women that even without males in their lives, they could still support their families and earn money to raise kids. It gave them the confidence to believe they could live their life as they saw fit, be who they wanted to be, and not be constrained by their innate urge to have children and nurture them. Over time, more and more women pursued careers in business, believed they could replace men as the dominant members of society, and essentially wasted their reproductive and prime years chasing either the traditional bad guys or their corporate goals. But as soon as these women reached their 30s and beyond, they began to realize that becoming pregnant was getting more and more difficult as time went on. Their discovery that life wasn't simply about accumulating riches or sticking to the extreme versions of feminism that make these women believe they can spend their lives without men or having kids while adhering to their inherent feminine instincts marked the beginning of their change in perspective. As time went on, an increasing number of women chose professions in business, thinking they might take the place of men as the dominating members of society. As a result, they virtually wasted their prime and reproductive years pursuing corporate objectives or the classic villains. But as these ladies got older, into their 30s and beyond, they realized that getting pregnant was becoming harder and harder with time. The beginning of their shift in perspective came when they realized that life wasn't just about making money or adhering to extreme feminisms that led these women to believe they could live their lives devoid of men or children while still honoring their innate feminine instincts. Thanks for watching Man Reacts. Show us your love and support by liking this video, sharing it with your friends, and subscribing to the channel. Support us and help us spread support for men around the world. Do comment and share your thoughts. We're always up for a healthy debate and discussion.